Ahoy, and welcome back to the workaround. Today, once again, I have a special guest, Alice Turner. Alice is a highly experienced Doula and Lamaze certified childbirth educator who has supported more than 300 births. She has helped both men and women, of course, women, but men too, make the childbirth experience a very positive one. Alice is also a certified YouTube star creator who just earned her 100,000th subscriber. And way back before becoming a doula, Alice received a biomedical engineering degree from Vanderbilt and minored in computer science. And she also spent her early professional life working as a database programmer in the healthcare space. And last or first, but not least, Alice is my little sister, which is quite an honor, right, Alice?
Totally. Absolutely. Number one. Best, best big brother ever.
Which I'm sure best and only for you,
Well, both.
which I'm sure we're going to get into uh, some different brother sisterly things as we go here. But no, I think
Absolutely.
it's the reasons I wanted to have you on, are a couple things here on the workaround, as we've talked. I'd like to hit on people who have had interesting careers, especially taking risks and going into things like entrepreneurial efforts. And one thing that I was thinking about as we were about to get on here is both you and I ended up going into entrepreneurial paths after some somewhat traditional first, step or two out of college. Yet our parents weren't really entrepreneurs, like there was nothing I don't think either of us grew up being taught you have to do that or want to do that. But I think that's one of the things we'll hit at as well. But also definitely wanted to
Yeah.
spend a lot of time breaking down your YouTube journey to 100,000 subscribers. But let's start off with, how do you get from biomedical engineering into the birthing business? Give us that story.
Yeah. Well, I would say the key moment came um, after I had given birth two times. I had someone come to me, a friend of a friend, really, and she said, "You're the person with the most experience that I know." So this was like we were in our, kind of late 20s, and for some reason, a person that had given birth twice was the most experienced person in the room at a party. And her husband was a minister who was transferred churches from Georgia to Florida. And she needed somebody there because his church would only let him come back to be there for the birth a week before the baby was due and a week after. That was his window. The baby didn't come then. That was, you know, that was the time. So
And
she was
what
like
year are we
terrified.
talking now? Well, this is
Yeah. So this was 2003.
way back then when there was not a lot of
Yeah.
maternal and paternal breaks and,
Oh, absolutely. It was a whole different world. I mean, even just to say that, it's tell the story. Sometimes when I tell the story, people are like, he was a minister and they wouldn't let him back. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. We thought it was weird at the time too, but it is absolutely true. So she came to me. So I had my second daughter. I had two daughters at the time. So like a 3-year-old and a baby. And she said, "Can you just be there in case he doesn't come back in time?" And that was like the turning point.
hmm.
Um, I, at that time, prior to that moment in time, I had worked in biotech in the database field in Seattle right after college. And I did love that because it was healthcare. That was the part that I really loved. Um, so I was working a healthcare job with data. I worked in a device for a startup device manufacturer, and they were sold. I ended up moving to Atlanta and working more in the just kind of data for data's sake, as my mind was kind of like boring writing reports. I didn't have that healthcare pull. So that was prior to that moment in time when she asked me to be there. And I took on that job to be her support person, preparing and reading about what I should do and all of that. And turns out he was there in time and they didn't call me because he was there. And I was absolutely devastated. Like I was
Oh,
so upset. I mean, I was glad for her because that's what she wanted. And him, obviously, he wanted to be there. But I thought, oh, here's my big one chance that I was going to, play this role. And then I realized like this, I think this is a job. And so in 2003, especially in Atlanta, or the South in general, doulas were not a big thing. They were more popular in on the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest, um, that as a job. And
and maybe
so
before you
once
go on, maybe
yeah,
before you
yeah.
go on, and I still get questions when I describe what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Still, like, what is a doula? Give us
Yeah,
that
yeah.
uh, offshoot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like to describe it kind of like a personal trainer or coach for you when you're giving birth. So we don't do any healthcare, but we're trying to work with families, or we work with families to help them achieve their own personal goals for birth. So it's not a specific type of birth. We don't only do home birth or hospital or, medicated, unmedicated. It's the person and what are their goals. So, yeah. Yeah. So after I wasn't able to do my first like doula experience, I just like went deep into the rabbit hole, learning about it, signed up for training and reading, and I was hooked. Like totally the idea of going back and kind of crunching numbers for a business that didn't have like any like true purpose in my mind. I know those businesses have purpose, but to me, I didn't feel that passion. So,
Do
yeah.
you think
So
there
that
was there something missing? I mean, obviously there's something it's the combination of the
yes.
job that like this feels purposeless or meaningless. But what was it about birthing in particular?
Well, maybe not birthing. Let me put that on hold for a second.
Yeah.
But what I've realized is that I am a helper personality.
Okay.
Like if I do something that I feel like is being helpful and I can see a direct line between what I'm doing and the person that's being helped, then I feel like that if I have that in a job or in a volunteer work or something like that, then it's golden.
Hmm.
So, and then I've always liked healthcare. I worked in the hospital in college and the summers I volunteered at the VA hospital. So I really loved that medical side of it.
Mhm.
So I think birth is just kind of like the perfect fit for all of that. It's also to me, I believe it's such a big, important life event that I can hardly even imagine something that's more important in the life of a woman that that wants to have children. So yeah, it just it hit all, rang all the bells.
So you went down the rabbit hole, did the research, and then how do you get your first
Signed up
customer?
for, yeah, I signed up
Did
for
you quit your day
training.
job? Like, okay, now you're okay, I'm gonna do this. What's like the next?
Yeah, well, there were quite a few hurdles for one thing.
Hmm.
The being a doula at the time, the pay you could imagine between database programming and doula work was significantly different. So I got my training and I actually thought about the work kind of as like almost like I don't want to say a hobby, but a little bit like this is work, but I love it so much, so I'm not gonna really worry about, how much I'm getting paid or that kind of thing, or even thinking that it's gonna be like meaningful as far as income. It's just like this is what I got to do because I really want to go down this path.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. And there were definitely many people at the time that were like, what the heck are you doing? This is because, it is very different as far as a career, you know. Um, but I started, I like put my name out there with some childbirth educators in Atlanta. And I went in and spoke at a childbirth class and said, like, and some of the people there didn't know what a doula was. And I said, I'm taking clients, I'm new, and I like right away got like my first three clients. And yeah, and it was just, you learn so much with each experience that it does. Training like prepares you, but really
And
being
having
there, it's
having
like,
been delivering two babies prepares you to some extent, right?
yeah, that helps. Yeah, that I had those two experiences, yeah, for sure, and they were a little different. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah. So I just went down that rabbit hole, and I never really, I still was doing a little bit of like contract work, consulting, database stuff, and um, but I really wanted to make being a doula like my thing. You know,
Hmm.
I was sold.
What did you say
Yeah,
with the people who were kind of like, what are you doing? What was your answer to that? Or did you?
that was pretty hard,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. I had some struggle. I definitely struggled with that. People would say, "You got an engineering degree from Vanderbilt. Like, do you have to have a degree to be a doula?" And I would say, "No, you don't." "Well, I thought you got an engineering degree. Like, what? Why are you doing this?" And I just kind of, that's what I'm interested in. But
Hmm.
it has changed through the years as more people have learned about doulas and had friends that have used doulas or know someone this that. um yeah, I was just at my reunion last weekend, and I had, people would ask me like, what are you doing now? And of any time you're gonna like have that conversation, it's at a
Yeah.
reunion,
Yeah. 30,
at the
30-year
place.
reunion, right? You said 30 years?
30 year. Yeah,
Yeah.
30 year. And, a lot of the guy, I was with mostly guys in my major.
Uh-huh.
And the guy I only ran into guys that I was in the major with, and they were like, "That's so cool. I had a doula. We had a doula at our birth, and that's amazing." And so that has really changed. I think just the profession has also, it's helped me, but it was hard. I don't really remember how I got through some of the difficult conversations, but I know it was difficult.
How about the
It was.
conversation of at home of, your income, taking a big hit
Yeah.
of starting something new and doula not being a, highly paid kind of position and sporadic,
Yeah.
like,
I am really lucky to be married to someone who is very supportive. So he recognized like the just how passionate I was about it. I think if I had been like, "Hey, I'm taking a huge pay cut and this job really sucks," that would be one thing. But like, I would come home from, working with a family and just be like lit up inside.
hmm.
And, he could tell, like, yeah, that is definitely, he, believed. And that's really important. Just when you are like the work of a doula, you really need a village behind you, especially if you have little kids, because you just like absolutely pause your life for an unknown amount of time. So, like, I had a really good friend in Atlanta who would literally just step into my life and like do what I would do with her kids in tow as well. So, she would have sometimes 8 children, taking care of them at one time
Yeah.
because I had four and she had four. And she's also a very, very supportive friend too. So, but it's not an easy job. Um, it's really a funky job to try to schedule, and how many clients can you take on, and yeah, but it's worth it. So,
Well, I think a lot about there's a ton of parallels of people that I know, listeners and viewers of this podcast that have gone into consulting, more traditional business
yeah.
consulting. I do this at a company now. I'm going to put my own shingle up and do it. And again, I think that's something that it's the same kind of lesson of You got to have your partner is supportive. Got to sometimes you do have to go run. Client needs you across the country at last minute.
Yeah.
There's things that can happen, and um, but also that point of if it does light you up, I think that and but you don't know. Was there a moment? Was it like okay, you knew not getting that first opportunity kind of broke your heart a little bit, and that was a sign. What about your first delivery? Was there something there that was the aha or fulfillment?
Well, funny enough, when the baby was born, I thought I was going to faint. Like I actually grabbed a chair and sat down for a second, and I was like, okay, you gotta pull it together. Um, but it like the she actually had a complication, and I felt like I was very helpful to her, and yeah, it was like after, I mean, I had that moment that I was like, uh-oh, but yeah, it felt like, okay, this is it. This is for me. I'm sold. Yeah.
Even with the faint, almost fainting.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, give us some like maybe the early some talk about some of your early experiences, or you could draw on it however you want, and I won't make you go on long stories, but like what are some of the maybe the a couple of the more positive surprises over the early journey, and maybe some of the more negative surprises or scary things that you learned.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I would say a negative. I'll just get that out of the way. The
Yeah.
negative is uh, there wasn't all there wasn't and still isn't in some places support for the role of a doula.
Okay.
So there was definitely moments of, you know, sort of not conflict in the room, but definitely not a welcoming.
Hmm.
So that was a struggle, and it is a struggle for some doulas in certain areas, and not out where I am now in Seattle is very doula friendly, but um, that can be that is a negative and can be challenging.
Hmm.
Um, but one of the but
What does that mean?
positives,
Like, what's like? Give us like a specific
yeah.
example, or.
Well, I mean a quick example that always comes to my mind is I had a doctor who would not like recognize my presence in the room.
Hmm.
So like literally pretended that I didn't exist. And I'm not the only one. The doctor had done that with, other doulas that I was friends with. But
Okay.
yeah, or saying things like to people, well, you don't have to listen to what your doula is saying, which is clear. They don't have to listen to what I'm saying, but they don't understand that I'm there to support the client and what they wanted, and that we had developed a relationship beforehand where they told me what they wanted, and
Hmm.
I'm reminding them what they want. And if a doctor doesn't like that, which it's usually where people are advocating for their own, I mean, they are maybe advocating for something that is different from what the doctor is advocating for.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Yeah, and I have, you know, witnessed definitely just pretty crappy behavior from some care providers
Hmm. Hmm.
towards people where they leave the room, and, my client have to kind of, help them sort of brush it off or think about what their next action is going to be. Do they want to ask for a new nurse? Do they need to ask different questions? So, yeah, I mean, there's been lots of stories, but
Well, I think also it's just interesting, like hiring an advocate into a healthcare system that can be adversarial. I mean, by its nature, there's
yeah,
doctors who are used to a certain way of doing things, and there's some positives of that. Like, if you get into
definitely.
healthy habits or something, and consistency can be good, or um, but it can be very like you see the doctor almost not at all. I know
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
a
absolutely.
handful
Yeah.
of times,
Yeah.
and certainly not like building a relationship. And then if you're the mother going through, the physical, every kind of hormone going off,
Yeah.
you may not be in kind of the mindset of having regular traditional waking consciousness for decisions and things like that. And
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's some
Yeah.
negative
So,
stuff. What about like the positive surprises? What?
okay. So, positive, the positive surprise that is sort of led me that being an entrepreneur, choosing the doula path and kind of sort of like going against the sort of mainstream job, I think opened my mind up to other possibilities in business.
Hmm.
So it was like after I sort of was walking down this path, I was like, oh, now that I'm on my own, like, why don't I, do something else? Like I opened up my first other sort of entrepreneurial um, route
Yeah.
was I opened an e-commerce business selling tools to doulas. So that was like, and that was kind of fulfilling a different, um, just part of like what I wanted to do. It was creative, but it was business and, adding income to like the weird income of being a doula. So that was like, I think like going on that path sort of like opened up my mind to like other types of uh, entrepreneurial, things that I wanted to explore. So that was cool.
Like, are you saying like you're able to just do it? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a doula.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn. I'm going to put my shingle up. I get a couple of customers. So now you've been an entrepreneur. Is it kind of like you've
Yeah.
got permission to just, well, now let me just try this or let me try that?
Yeah. Absolutely. It was like I broke ties from kind of the standard corporate America in my brain. It was like, what the hell? Okay, maybe I'll like start selling things and
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and that's sort of what started YouTube, my YouTube, putting things on YouTube. So I was like, eh,
Well,
I was like a freedom, like just like
I
let's just
definitely
try some stuff.
we're definitely going to go there in a second, but you
Yeah.
gave me back a memory that I think I don't know if you, I know I've mentioned this once or twice over the years when we've gotten back together, but the time I noticed that was when we had a family vacation, I think to Hilton Head, and
Okay.
we collected a bunch of shells on the beach.
Yes, we did.
We had
Hilton
one or
Head.
two like glass jars full of shells.
Yeah.
And I wish I remember like how we came up with this idea. Maybe you did. But we had just like kids will do the lemonade sale, put a card table out, pour some lemonade, we had a
Yeah.
shell sale.
Yeah, we did.
Had like different piles. Here's for a nickel, here's for a dime, here's for a quarter. And we were flooded with kids coming by to buy shells. And
That's
I just
hot.
remember like that combination of like an element of we just picked this shit off the ground.
Yeah,
And they love it and they're giving us money and all the things we could buy, the baseball cards I could buy with this money. But also there
absolutely.
was something about like seeing their delight that they
Yep.
couldn't wait to have a shell, from our
Right.
stand.
Right.
Do you remember that? Like,
100%.
okay.
Absolutely. Yes. That was amazing. I love that. But in my mind, that we brought some joy. So we helped them have a little bit of joy with
Yeah,
that shell that we sold them for a quarter. Yeah,
it's now sitting
that's
in,
perfect.
their
It's in that
junk drawer
box that
somewhere.
parents like pack up and they're like, take your crap and yeah,
There's a
the little
shell.
shells, I'm sure, in there.
Yeah, but I still remember that. And then I did mowing lawns and getting
Yeah.
paid for that. You were doing babysitting and other, stuff. So we were entrepreneurs even way back when.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
you tried some stuff. What you tried? Some things worked, some things didn't. Tell us before we get into YouTube, like what, give us a sample
Yeah.
of some of those things and how they went.
Yeah.
E-commerce idea, hey, I could sell things I'm using to other
That's
doulas.
right. That's right. Yes. Called
How'd
Your
that go?
Doula Bag. Yep, that went okay. Um, I I liked the idea of creating it, but I wasn't super passionate about the stuff. But it went okay.
Like the stuff,
So
the items are all the work it
backpacks.
takes to run an e-commerce.
I wasn't so much as excited about the tool. I like the tools, but there's only so many tools you really need. And so, that kind of like didn't scratch all the creativity that I wanted.
Yeah.
Um, and then while that was going on, I also created something that definitely I would classify as a failure along the way, but it was a client management system for doulas called Your Doula Biz. So it did bring together like my two worlds of database and um, doula. And I worked with a guy that or a couple of guys that I'd worked with in the past, and we created an app for it. But that was, I feel like, a classic case of not knowing the customer very
Hmm,
well.
hmm, hmm.
Because while I thought it was very helpful for doulas to have a way to keep their clients' data, um, I don't think that was at the time the typical doula.
Okay.
That, yeah. So yeah, just kind of never took off the way I wanted it to. So
Like
that,
like you were saying, it'd be a tool you would use, but maybe you're higher on the
exactly.
organization, bar or, uh,
Yes.
and
It it it
it was SaaS, like so.
it was a
In
SaaS.
theory,
It
could
was a
be
SaaS.
great. Here's client management for
And
doulas, but
yeah, it might be great now. I think that the typical doula, not typical, um, I think that doulas have changed a bit to be more business minded. I mean, this is my 20th, I just finished my 20th year. And we've seen the profession change, you know. Um, so we see more doulas like taking insurance, and some insurance companies are reimbursing people for doula work, and just there's more of a professionalism, I think, to the the job. And so, yeah, so it might take off now. So,
yeah, it's interesting because it's you're hitting on a theme I've heard many times over the year of say
oh yeah,
people will, I've known a couple of people now that have say like I had to go through a big process to handle managing my parents'
yeah,
files as they were getting older and going into memory care, things like that. And I created these spreadsheets, and I bet a lot of other people are going through that. Maybe I can turn that into an app.
yeah,
Like, yeah, but most people aren't as organized and just make a spreadsheet, or they'll do with the big box of stuff, or they've got, an attorney that will do some, like it's kind of something it's
yeah,
also easy to put off. And do I really want to like do I want to change habits? It's like getting into,
yeah,
the number one thing I
yeah,
learned at Procter and Gamble is, we wasted many, many millions of dollars trying to get people to do things that they never done before. And
yeah,
once in a while that
yeah,
looks like, shampoo and hair or brushing your teeth, but a lot of times it doesn't. And, you've
yeah,
practiced. But you're right. Maybe the door
yeah.
is open for people in the future.
Who
So,
knows?
and then
Yeah,
you
who knows?
also did some work with the Lamaze group as well. Like, tell us about kind of how that
Yeah, that was a volunteer role,
okay.
that I was on the board for Lamaze International, and then I kind of went through the leadership and became the president. I really liked that because, uh, well, I believe in the organization. They train childbirth educators, and I feel like they have really strong foundation for that. And so it's a great organization. But I also loved that they were doing a lot of advocacy and with the government in DC. trying to get childbirth education to be sort of part of healthcare, whether it's reimbursed or it's just kind of embraced as part of a healthy package for prenatal care. So I loved that. That was my favorite thing that we did, that I did as part of that board. It's go, talk to, we had the whole organization come in and split up and talk with their representatives. And that was really, really fulfilling. We didn't make a lot of progress, but we worked on it. So
Yeah.
it's,
So, and
yeah,
again, just giving you another perspective on the whole world of
yeah,
that, of
yeah,
childbirth education. Well, let's get into
yeah.
let's do the YouTube story because this is
Let's
juicy.
do it.
You're trying things, some work, some don't, some are fast fails, some are longer, okay business,
Mhm.
energy goes up and
Yeah.
down over time. How do you start on the YouTubes? What gave you what sent you over there?
Yeah. Well, I made my first video back when I was still selling products, the doula products, and I, heard about YouTube. It was new, so my first video was published in 2009, in October of 2009. By the way, have you seen it? You're gonna have to see it later. It's
Yeah,
in our parents' basement. It was recorded in our parents' basement. So that'll be a little, I kept it on YouTube for anybody who is like ever looking,
Yeah.
I hate when people delete all their first crappy YouTube videos
Oh, you got to keep
because
all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, well, I don't keep all of it. I will, full disclosure, I've gotten rid of a lot. But that one, I'm pregnant and I'm showing the products. So it's kind of like a product video, about this for this company.
Huh?
Yes, it was like pulling things out of my bag. I have this pregnant belly. It's so cringy. It's so bad, but I did it. And then for like between 2009 and 2019, 10 years,
Yeah.
literally, I was like kind of back and forth, like, oh, I had like an idea would pop in my head about being a doula or childbirth, and I would like get excited about it and go make a video and put it on YouTube. But I didn't have like, I mean, why? I'm just kicking myself that I didn't from 2009 start putting regular content on there, but I didn't. It
And
was like, hit or miss. Yeah.
can I also say, like, were you also writing blogs? Were you doing podcasts? Were you doing
No.
things on social media? Or like YouTube was the one kind of video, the one media that you went to?
I mean, I was putting stuff on Instagram. I was doing some Twitter, like there was like a regular Twitter kind of chat for doulas on Friday nights that I would take part in, and yeah, definitely when Instagram came out, Facebook, some stuff, but I never really was dedicated or consistent with any of it for
Gotcha.
like 10 years.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I was doing a little bit of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would always say to myself, I love YouTube,
Hmm.
but I don't have, in my mind, what was holding me back was I don't have a space to take the videos. We lived in a small
Really?
house and a lot of people in a small space, and noise and just clutter stuff in the background, and that's what held me back. And
Hmm.
I wish that I wouldn't have. And I love to hear about YouTube creators that just find like a little nook, because that's all you need. You don't need a big dedicated awesome space, But that's what I thought at the time. So I would like just worry about what was my background going to look like, and I need to be in the same spot every time to take a video. And yeah, so that kind of, yeah, held me back from just getting out there.
But even video, like it's funny. So
Yeah.
let's compare this because I think it's interesting. Like you were thinking video, and even I wish I would do more video, but no space. My brain is just writing. Like I've done
Yeah.
blogs since 2003,
Yeah.
I look at video, I'm doing video now. Hi. It's the most half-assed video. My YouTube channel sucks. But I'm just kind of like, it
Give
just takes
yourself
so much
credit.
work, and I
Yeah.
like me firing off a Substack post. It's like, oh, I just know, like, I'll have one image that I'll take 5 minutes, looking for. I put a lot of, days of work into the writing and the topics and things like that. But it's just like I just gravitate into that. You're
Yeah.
gravitating into YouTube, which feels like the hardest one. I mean, maybe TikTok dancing would be harder, a version of that or something, but like you're going to the hard mode almost. Why was that?
Well, that's what you think
Okay.
because writing seems like the hard mode to me.
Ah,
YouTube is the easy mode. YouTube is easy mode to me. And also, like, just think about when we were kids, if someone said to you, you can have your own television show, you can put anything you want on it. Just you pick the topic, you pick the format, you pick the length. Like, you've got free reign. Go put on your own TV show. Like, that would blow our brains. Like,
yeah.
that would be like, what? You know? Um, that's what YouTube is. And to me, like, how cool is that? Like I can, just flip on the camera and like, yeah. So hard mode and easy mode is different for you and I.
But I wonder if it's something related to, I mean, video is definitely cooler, but I wonder if there's something related to, um, I don't know, comfort.
Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube, do you have to, I don't know. I don't know. We could do a whole nother hour on that, but let's go back
We
to,
could.
but that is interesting. I mean, like a point being, and
Yeah.
I try to talk about this sometime, if anybody who people I talk to or, ask for advice on content creation, one of my first
Yeah.
principles is it's got to be something you love to do. So
Absolutely.
you're really good
Absolutely.
at, I mean, I also think about all the video apps and adding things, and it's just like, I don't want to do, like, I'm not a design guy. I'm a
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's probably you're more on the artistic side um, than I am, and come from computer science, so you can sling the code around
Yeah.
better than all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's got to be part of it. All right, so
Yeah.
YouTube, 10 years of wandering around, and then what happens?
Yeah. And then I wanted to give myself some kind of challenge to embrace video. Because we had just moved to Seattle and we had been in Seattle for like 4 months, 5 months. And I actually had an office in the space that we were renting. And I was like, well, no excuse now.
Hmm.
I absolutely have a dedicated space that I could set up a camera and I have no excuses anymore. So in December of 2019, I gave myself a daily video that I actually started out. My idea was to do a Facebook Live that I would download and upload to YouTube.
Okay.
And I don't know why at the time Facebook Lives were popular or like getting some traction or something. And I think so. Gave myself, I think, I can't remember if I gave myself a 60-day, but anyway, it ended up being 100 days.
Hmm.
And every single day. And it was crazy. I didn't script it. I got this wheel and put topics on it, and I would spin the wheel, and whatever topic it landed on, I would just like free form talk about it. So it was like I didn't edit it at all. I just like literally uploaded it right to YouTube with like I didn't put a thumbnail. I mean, it was, but it got me in the habit. Like it broke that like overthinking of video and just yeah, it just sort of like just got I was hooked on YouTube after that. Like then I was like, oh, Facebook Live, whatever. Like
Hmm.
YouTube is where I need to be
Why
for
YouTube?
sure.
But why YouTube? What was the?
Okay, I love the data.
Oh,
YouTube in the studio. gives you so much data, and the database programmer in me, I love it, where you can see where people drop off, where they're watching, how long they watch, what made them click, how many views did the videos have, how long, I mean, average view duration of a video. Like I could geek out about that stuff.
Hmm.
It's they give you so much,
Hmm.
and it's very easy to use. And also, it's such a good search engine that, you put a video, if my content is evergreen, so birth doesn't change that much, what labor, what a contraction feels like is going to be the same today as, it was and will be. So having that searchability, it's different from like putting it on Instagram. You can't search for something on Instagram.
Hmm.
So the fact that I could start seeing that I was getting found in search for certain terms that I made, on the wheel and made those videos. And that was like, okay, this is cool.
Even in that first 100 days.
Yep. It
Okay.
already in the first like 30 days, it would say I was already getting found in search for some of those topics.
Hmm. Do you remember the numbers
Yeah.
like back in the first 100 days kind of thing? Like,
I don't. I remember my subscriber count was about like 4,000-ish
so in
in
that,
those first 10 years.
the first 10 years, we got still got up to like 4,000.
Yeah.
Some of which,
Yeah. Maybe.
a lot of which had their baby and probably,
Oh my gosh.
didn't need it anymore, so it wasn't like 4,000
Totally.
people still actively looking for more. So you might as well
Yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
zero to a certain extent. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that's neat. I mean, I think that's something, again, kind of thinking about for people thinking about getting started in content, that combination of doing it and still liking it, like without
Yeah.
any, forget the feedback, forget the numbers, like, and that's another thing I say is, people say, I think I'm going to do a Substack or I'm going to write a book. I go,
Yeah.
start with like writing 10 posts. Maybe I don't think I've said
Very
every
good.
day, but just like do 10 posts in 10 weeks. And if you still are, that's the hard part, just like working out or like we're
Yeah.
talking about habit change here. Like you go, I need to get a
Totally.
video habit or a writing habit or something. Like you got to give yourself a challenge. If you can see it through, then that's half the battle. Like, okay, I know I can do it. And
Yep.
then like that point, that second point of getting any kind of feedback, any kind of,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
there's a human being. I'm doing it for other people. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Human beings are, because I exist, somebody spent 10 minutes watching this
Yeah.
of their life.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
and so,
I love that.
yeah, you started seeing the data and then tell us about how were you starting to use some of the things you learned and used and like the
Yeah.
process from there.
Uh, I would say some of the things that I really I felt like were kind of big aha moments in my YouTube journey. One was, and they've changed a little bit along the way, but there are right now it's called trends, but there's some tools that YouTube provides on the back end that says your people that watch your channel are also looking for these topics. And so it looked a little bit different when I started kind of looking at that more closely. And I there was a topic that came up like your viewers really want to hear about this topic. And I thought I never even thought about, that, but what the hell? I'll make a topic, I'll make a video about that because apparently people, and that video was one of my or still is one of my best performing videos
Hmm.
because it's like this little topic. It's called anterior placenta that
I was going to ask, so thank you.
I
I
think
thought it
that's
might
what it
be other
is.
topics that are a little bit borderline.
It's just the placenta, Bob. Nothing too weird.
No
Um,
plugs or anything involved.
no plugs, no mucus is involved. But the and this, so what, and that kind of like that was I can't remember. I feel like that video is maybe like 4 years old, but anyway, what I have started paying attention to is if YouTube puts out a feature or something new, I give it a really good look and try to adopt it.
Mm,
Like shorts, when shorts came out, and I was kind of hesitant. Some people were putting their short form video in like a different channel. Can it hurt your channel? Can it? But then they started giving you the ability to link a long form from your short form video.
mm,
And I thought, okay, this is not going away. Like I need to do that. So then I started making shorts too, and that really helped grow my subscriber count and help, people find me through shorts. So I feel like, YouTube. I was so excited just recently. YouTube gave my account access to a new course feature.
mm.
Now I'm going into where my next. I don't know if you want
Yep.
me to talk about.
Go ahead. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just in that same vein of paying attention to the new features they're releasing, um, I got access to courses where you can sort of group together videos and call it a course,
Mm,
which is like perfect for a childbirth educator.
mm,
So I had done a 15-day series of live streams on how to breathe in labor that I had just kind of did last year, and then I just privated them, kind of trying to think what should I do with these videos. And since YouTube gave me access to this new course feature, I just brought them back and put them together as a course that people can watch on YouTube. So yeah, I think that has really helped, like paying attention to what the platform is doing and trying to utilize the tools. Yeah.
and is that like how much that is, oh, these are new things? When I've played social media games in the past, we sometimes would
Yeah.
do that for our clients and, in marketing agencies of mine, we'd sometimes look at that and say, oh, there's a window of opportunity. So like if you were one of the first people on Pinterest,
Right.
Pinterest needed creators to
Yeah.
pin a bunch of stuff, or or Pinterest failed. So those early people on Pinterest got millions of followers without working hard of
Yeah.
quality. And
Right.
sometimes you kind of look at that and go, oh, if we could be the first on something, there might be an unfair advantage there. Is that one of the things that
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I'm hoping. Yes.
Yeah, each
Yeah.
time? Okay. What were some of
Yes.
the like big milestones? Can you think of specifically over those years where you start,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. One of the big milestones came. So I started, kind of or consistent in December of 2019. And then when the pandemic came around, there were a bunch of childbirth classes that were canceled. So I was hearing about, people weren't able to go to childbirth class because it was in person. And so I created a 14-day live stream childbirth class that I put on, I want to say like 4 times. And so it was free to the public, and it was every night for 14 nights, 1 hour a night. And that did a couple of things. It like really helped build my channel. Um, and it just kind of helped build my confidence in kind of keeping up with YouTube. And it really met a need too. So of, people looking for how to prepare during that time. So that was kind of a big milestone, like doing that. Um, and then I think adding shorts linked to my long form, that was a big milestone for my channel,
yeah.
because some of the shorts did like take off and get a lot of views. And then I saw just the long form start to grow and subscribers and that kind of thing. I think those were two pretty big, memorable channel, moments. Yeah.
And I think you've told me there's also just a lot of surprises that happen too with the algorithm,
Yeah,
right? So just suddenly you're seeing spikes and you're not sure why, and maybe that's,
definitely.
or the other way around
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, there's definitely mystery still, despite what data they give you, you still don't know. Sometimes I'll have, maybe somebody posts like a link to a video in a Reddit, bump group, like, where people gathering. And all of a sudden, I'll have a video take off. And because that video had like a really good week, it still carries momentum and it, ends up being on a different trajectory. So yeah, it's interesting. And then, playing around with getting better at things like changing the thumbnail, making sure. By the way, when are we going to change your thumbnails, Bob?
I've got a little thumbnail. It's okay, but
Okay, I'm going to check it out.
this is about success stories, not me. No one wants that. I
I'm
don't want
just kidding.
that
Okay.
on mine.
I just had to do a
I'm
little,
Substack,
you know,
man. Substack, Substack. Anything
little.
else is like, we'll get some extra views on this because people want to see us together. But um, no, I think you gotta, I mean, do you want me giving you Substack advice? No, you gotta like pick the one.
Actually, no, I don't need to do a Substack. I mean, if I had a Substack, I would take your advice.
I've done a ton of stuff on Substack that are just kind of like somewhat my version of yours. Like I don't really have
Yeah,
much of a business model. You've got a business model. Here, but well, let
I
me ask
just
you,
had to.
what's
Yeah,
that?
I
What'd
just
you say?
had to give you a little poke.
Oh, I'll take it. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm still, I do. You told me to keep my head like a finger's width
Yes,
under
that
the
was
ceiling,
good.
so I am using that. That's a free one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Doesn't take much change for me. Um, well, how do you feel about like the state of YouTube overall? For a creator, you've built a business, you're getting revenue from YouTube,
Yeah,
in addition to awards and subscribers, like, for your
yeah.
goals, how is it panning out?
I'm sold on YouTube. I love it. I mean, especially when I look out at other social media. I mean, I don't think of YouTube as social media. It's kind of a weird, it's not that it's
Probably
different.
closer to Netflix
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
house. I mean, this is like, do I want to choose Netflix,
Yes,
Amazon Prime, HBO Go, or YouTube? It's like
absolutely. And
mostly
that
long form, half an hour to an hour.
absolutely. And that's what the data and what YouTube gives a lot of information to creators about the state of YouTube and that kind of thing. And and you can see um, how many of your views are coming from TV. And yeah, I love that. I love the ability that people can, they can watch my video dubbed in, you know, 20 different languages right
Mm.
now,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird, but like if you watch it yourself, like,
Yeah.
I wonder if, but also the subtitles, and I have a lot of viewers that aren't in the US, which I think is interesting and cool. And the ability, like that course that I put up, um, it's something that a couple could like sit down on their couch and pull it up on their TV and prepare for, labor that way. Like, I just think that is just really cool. And I feel like there's definitely some things that, I thought that are coming that are going to be really exciting for creators that are going to help with monetization,
Hmm.
that they have announced for 2026. And I'm really excited about basically the ability to put ads in old videos.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a game changer for people because I have a lot of content out there that has no ad right now. But
Hmm.
they YouTube places an ad, but I could work with a brand and put a sponsorship in old
Okay.
content
Interesting.
when they add that. So I feel really good about it. I think I see so much potential. So
What would be
yeah,
if you had a magic wand for YouTube,
yeah.
what would you wish for?
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, I guess I wish that some of the controversy that is around like AI created content or like controversial content, if some of that just kind of disappeared,
Okay.
that would be great because there has been some like negative press about YouTube and trying to filter out AI and all that kind of stuff. I don't want that to get in the way of like the value that people are bringing to whether it's entertainment or education or,
Gotcha.
um,
Like, might that
yeah,
turn
I
people
think,
off generally?
yeah, yeah,
What about AI
yeah,
for you? Like, so are you seeing AI generated birthing videos yet? Are you
not
using
really.
AI at all for anything? Like, what's your take on that?
Um, I'm using AI. I like to think of it as sort of like a an assistant for me. So, you know, if I can get a rough draft of something or an organization, like, feed it a script, how should I maybe write an email to share, some rough draft writing, because writing isn't my first love. Um, some ideas on like um, connecting with putting out some community posts and that kind of thing on YouTube. Yeah, some idea generation, not idea generation, but more like um, organization. I'm using it more for that.
Gotcha.
So,
Are
but
you
yeah,
seeing AI like competitive content at all in your space?
I am not right now. I mean, there seems to be some like medically type, stuff like animations on how childbirth happens and that kind of thing. But I don't really find that to be like my direct competition anyway.
Hmm.
So
And your
far, I don't.
and your videos are all you speaking to the camera,
Yeah,
your physical
pretty
presence.
much.
That would
Yep,
be,
yep,
it's funny, like I do, I for videos I consume,
yeah,
which, often like science related or history or things, I see a lot of creators that say, well, write a great script or tell a story, but they don't want to be on camera for whatever
yeah,
reason. Well, that's just, I don't know, maybe the personal connection that you choosing to be on a screen, you're teaching.
yeah,
Like that's you're usually teaching. You're a teacher versus someone
absolutely.
talking about like, there's a guy, I think his name is something like Joe the Librarian, and he does these
Oh,
great Civil War play-by-play stuff. And it's all visuals, and his visuals are awful. And it's kind of funny that they're awful for the first
yeah, yeah,
part, but then it's like this guy just needs AI to just, and there's so many things of like visuals of, here's the history of this. And like,
yeah,
that would be a lot of work pulling old images or paying Getty a bunch of money versus
right.
a magical AI thing, put some cool stuff so I can just, I'm mainly listening to his content, but, not have to see the same image of a planet going around, 3 times.
That's awesome.
Or they're
Yeah,
stealing, sci-fi, science stories that they're stealing from Star Trek videos, or whatever. But,
yeah,
all right, that's a
yeah,
tangent. So AI, not afraid yet. You're using a little bit. What about the
yeah,
question of YouTube creator burnout, which I kind of have
yeah,
seen some YouTubers. One of my favorite people, uh, the Outdoor Boys, this guy,
yeah,
Alaskan,
yeah.
the guy. Yeah, I mean, like
Of course.
millions of subscribers, amazing
Absolutely.
videos. Watch it anytime.
Yeah.
And just hung it up and said, I think for him, his story was it's getting too much attention, and
That's what I was going to say. I think that was his issue.
but in
Yeah,
general,
too
tell
famous.
us about like are YouTube creators burning out, and do you ever feel that kind of burnout?
Hmm.
How long can you keep,
Yeah.
you know?
I definitely hear about YouTube creators burning out. That is like a theme that you'll see pop up, and sometimes you'll see creators make a video like I'm done, and then there's like five more of
Yeah,
population that'll finish that
it's
video,
just like
So
they need to hit their numbers this month, and like it's
yeah.
clickbait. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely need to do one called I'm Done. I'm sure I can, but it's like I'm done with the hospital system or something. Anyway,
There you go.
let me write that one down.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Um,
As long as I can
yeah,
somehow.
yes, I'll reference you in that. I think. when I have, this is going to sound as basic as anything, but batching things, like planning things out. Um, if I can batch stuff where I have a plan that I know, like I'm making these videos and this is coming up, and then I'm fine. I'm in a routine and I know what's happening. If I have this like cadence that I want to keep up with, and I am not thinking ahead or planning ahead, then yeah, I get stressed and feel like, what am I doing? My channel's gonna go to crap. But once you like drop the cadence for a little bit, like usually mine I do most of the time one long form a week and shorts every day besides the day I do the long form. So I try to publish something every day.
Mhm.
Um, and when I have lived through messing that up a few times and realized like, okay, people are still watching, then I feel better about, okay, this is ideal. And if I don't make ideal, it's okay. Like
Gotcha.
it's gonna work out. Yeah. So I think burnout, yeah, definitely could be real. And that is, when you were talking about suggesting that people like write 10 blogs before they write a book. I can't remember someone, said like, can you write 100 topics, 100 video ideas?
Mhm.
you know, and that's a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And that is the what I don't struggle with usually is ideas. Like I've just got too many ideas. I mean, a lot of creators are like that,
I'm like
right? Just
that.
like,
I've
yes,
got a document with 300 pages of, it's probably maybe 400 now, of post ideas for Substack.
yeah,
Many of them with, 12 bullet point, like the outlines are done. Like when I sit down and write, it's
wow,
usually, okay, I'm going to pull this one out and it's kind of half written already.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always thinking about like, oh, how does that relate to birth? Or, oh, I got a sandwich and they didn't put so and so on it. How is that related to birth? I mean, it's stupid, but it's my brain is like that. And
Yeah,
maybe that's how yours is
totally. Well,
too.
I think that's the other thing of,
Yeah.
when I've started going into content things before, I wrote a book a while back and I had a blog around that and this concept of marketing with meaning. And so then you just,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, that's another thing that I share with people. Like once you start doing it routinely, your unconscious starts helping you. It's
totally.
ideas come in the shower or walking down the street, or, it's like you've got this radar kind of
Hmm.
really pinging for things. And then,
Yeah.
um, well, how do you decide if you've got all these ideas? Give me some advice. I got we have all these ideas. How do you decide what you're going to do that day or that week?
Yeah. That is hard. I am looking at the YouTube tools and
Okay, so you've got,
filtering my ideas through them. So I am trying to look because I've done it before where I have graded, idea for a video and I put it out and turns out like maybe other people don't think it's that interesting. So that is okay. So, I try to filter if I have like a list of topics that I just did this recently trying to plan out my first quarter next year calendar. Like I have these ideas, so I will put them into the YouTube like trends section to see like is there low interest, medium, high that YouTube tells me. I will, go to the search engine and start typing the higher topic to see does it come up. Um, and then also I will post sometimes in my community post on my YouTube channel of like these are 4 ideas I'm thinking about. What would be your favorite? So sometimes, if I get learn new things. Like sometimes people pick if I give 4 and I think, well, of course they're going to pick this one, and it's the one I want to do,
yeah.
and then they pick something else. I'm like, okay. Turns out, that does kind of make that idea sort of
Gotcha.
filter out. So yeah,
All right. Final question.
okay.
Talked at the start, you got your 100,000 subscribers, and over your shoulder there is your award. I've seen lots of YouTube videos with awards in the background. A, put the award up to the camera so we can see what it
Okay.
is.
Okay. Here it comes.
And then explain us how one gets these awards. All right. So it's like a glass thingy.
It's a mirror, so you
Awesome.
can't tell. See, there
Oh,
we are.
hey, there's me.
There you are.
Okay, so it's here. And
So
that's
it's smaller. They made them smaller. They shrunk them. They
okay.
used to be like this tall. Yeah.
They need to
So
fit on the
compared to my
screen.
head.
Yeah.
What's that?
They need to fit on the background, like
I know, that's true. When you have multiple, because when my million comes, it'll have to fit with the, yeah.
all right. So
It's a
that's just
lot, it's a lot lighter than it should be. It should be heavier. When my 15-year-old had his friends over, they were like, "We want to see your YouTube, but your YouTube plaque." And so I was like, "Oh yes, people want to see it." So I brought it out and I let them, hold it and like pass it around. And one of the guys, like, as soon as he grabs it, he's like, "This should be heavier." And I was like, "I agree.
you probably put
It
some
should be
lead on the
heavier."
back of it or something, you can do that.
Yeah, so it's like kind of like has more drama. Yeah.
You get your 100,000, YouTube reaches out. Do they say like congratulations? And then there's like an order
They
form.
do.
You have to pay for that thing. Like
No, you don't have to pay. They send it in a box
you
like
still got the
this.
box, of course. Okay.
Yes. And the CEO sends you a letter.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes. Yes. And on it is heavy cardstock, I will
Okay.
say.
The card stock heavier than
But
the award.
yeah, they're close. Yeah, you don't have to pay for it, but if you want to get a second one, like for like another office or you
Yeah,
just want to carry it around,
right.
you can pay. You can pay for that. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I shared my video where the UPS guy came? I filmed it. Did I show it to you?
I don't
It's
know.
pretty fun.
You'll have to send that to me and I'll drop it into the YouTube video version of this.
Yes, yes, yes. It was so cute because I had my balloons out and because I was tracking it and I knew exactly when it was going to come. And so I'm just waiting for the UPS guy. And when he walks up, I was like, "Can you be on film?" And he was so excited and he handed it over to me. It was very cute. You'll have to see.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
That's
Yeah,
shoot that to me. All right. So when are you going to get to a million? Do we have, what's prediction?
that's a good question.
Have you
5
done the
years.
analysis? 5 years?
The analysis is crap. You can't think about the analysis.
Hmm.
A couple years ago, if you look at some of the tools, like there's some tools, View Stats is a Mr. Beast did a tool, and there's another one, Social Blade. If I had listened to the tools, it would take me 20 years, like back then when
Uh,
you projected out.
hmm.
Yeah. So you can't listen to the tools, but or project it. But I don't know. I'm in a weird, not, I'm not the only one, but not everyone stays pregnant for years and years or wants to keep watching videos about that. So any of but a lot of people don't unsubscribe from things either.
Right.
So, um,
Well,
yeah,
plus, the nice thing is, as I remember from working at my agency for brands such as Pampers, Loves, and Similac, in the United States, there's still 4 million new babies a year. So there's always people
yeah,
coming back into the market looking for content.
yes,
So that's where your search work, more than the history videos I'm watching probably don't do great. Their back catalog probably gets, very little, but
yeah,
it's interesting. Well, Alice,
yeah.
thank you so much for spending some time with us and telling your story. I think it's a great one for people looking into coaching and also finding more meaningful work and how to stick with it for the long term. We'll have you back when you have a million, obviously, but maybe from time to time between now and then to help us out with our YouTube efforts as well.
Yeah,
How
this is
I
fun.
will I'll put your LinkedIn on um, the post. Anything, any other contact, or I'll put your YouTube account, obviously, for people to check it out. Any other ways that people should look for you or find you?
Yeah, YouTube is my favorite. Find me there. Yep, Alice Turner or Birth Toolbox. And yeah,
Excellent. Any
cool.
thanks so much. Great, great. My favorite podcast already. My favorite sister. My favorite family podcast.
Thank you.
Anyway, all
Amazing.
right. Thanks so much, Alice.
Thanks, Bob.
Ahoy for now.